Skinner, Dean and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. I'll tell you what, I'm with Emily Dean and Alun Cochrane this morning.
Mm-hmm.
Dun, 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 dun. You can text us on 8 12 15. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the oh yeah, through the Absolute Radio website you can email us. That old method. Do you remember last week when I came in, I had a lady driver in the morning who drove me in.
Oh, yes. You were quite shocked, I seem to recall.
She had a 6-year-old who asked her what people are for.
Oh, yeah.
We had that as a text in.
Yeah.
She's from, very nice. I had her again this morning, coincidentally, she's from Latvia.
Mm-hmm.
And we went past a major...
You two were getting on famously.
Yeah, we went... We went past one of the major department stores on Regent Street in the centre of London, a conurbation in the southeast of England. And it was this odd modern phenomenon of teenage boys mainly queuing for training shoes.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Is it a new Nike Huarache or something like that?
I haven't looked at my alerts.
Right.
My Plimsoll alerts, which I normally have.
Plimmies.com.
Pomps alerts. But, so I don't, I see them there. And they you know, one associates teenage boys with a sort of a reckless, rebellious freedom. They have, like, fold-up chairs with them.
Oh, yeah.
Have they been out clubbing like that? Can I just put this, I can just leave my deck chair in the...
They will queue for for Plimsolls.
Yeah. So I said to her, that is amazing. I said, she said, what is that? And I said, no, it's they've queued over. I said, there'll be kids who've been there since 2 o'clock to get the new trainers. I said, I find it amazing. She said, she thought for a while and she said, I queued 2 hours for sausage once.
Haven't we all?
I said that's one of the best East European anecdotes I've ever. And then she started rattling off some of the other things she'd queued for. Soap.
Soap.
Yeah. Respect to her.
What's the point?
She said it's all changed now, so that's progress. We begin on a high note.
Yes.
Eastern Europe on the way up, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, dear. That was capital now. I'd have played Lady. So, I did, I saw an odd thing this week. Now, I tell you what, I'd like your advice.
Yes.
I was walking, down the high street when I heard footsteps. Well, I was walking down the road and I could hear, no! It was Gordon Brown. No, it wasn't. No, I heard this and I thought, oh, that's a bit weird. And there was a woman and she got this kid on the ground. He got his school uniform on. And she was clearly his mom. And they were like physically wrestling.
Oh, they were grappling?
Yeah, they were physically wrestling. And he was going, no, I don't go on. And she was going, it was just like that.
Was it Kerry Katona?
There was people saying, what, Celebrity Mum of the Year? And people were, I think she'd gone to Iceland.
Oh, yeah.
She was absent. People had come out, to see what it was and stuff. And I was walking, I physically stepped over them. And I thought, should I do something here? Because the woman looked like she was having... but one of the things she did, which was very odd, she reached... While they were wrestling, she reached right out, like when they're in prison in a cowboy film and they're reaching for the keys. She did that, reached right out, and she managed to get one of his Crocs off and threw it over a fence.
Wow.
Can I just say I love this woman?
I don't know if that was a way of disabling him in some... If I get the Crocs off, he won't get far.
You know, the problem is you can't really get involved, Frank.
Well, that was what I thought.
I can. Do you know why? If I get involved... Well, no, if I get involved, it's social conscience. If you get involved, it's a reality show. Let's be honest, because of the cloak of celebrity.
No, but I needn't have played my celebrity card. I could have...
You can help
if I could have said, no, hold this. I'm 4-star comedian, Frank. Do we really need this, guys? Is this what life's about, guys? I could have done that. But then... I was worried about that thing about getting involved. It was... I feel bad now.
Did you
that I
leave
did.
them grappling?
I did, and afterwards I thought to myself, what if it was actually a mugging?
Oh yeah, and she was stealing his Crocs.
Yeah.
Just one at a time over the fence.
Got an accomplice with a bin line on the side of the wall. I'm implicated.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
You know, you were talking about the youths queuing for trainers.
Yes.
740, a.k.a. Ian Angle.
Ian Angle, regular.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be a pun. This'll be a pun.
Yeah.
Well, he says you could have a designated phone line for it. The Plimsoll line.
Don't get it. I don't get it. I'm sorry, Ian.
You
don't
do
get
history?
it. I did do history, but not all of it.
What, you missed out?
There's little bits that I missed.
Aspects of the 19th century.
Did you do nautical history?
Plimsoll line. Did the history of medicine, did the Wild West,
There's
did
a line.
various bits of history.
No, I might get this wrong, back me up.
Okay.
There's a line on the side of a ship which is roughly where it should sit in the water. So, so the surface of the water. So if you've gone too low, you've got too much cargo on, is the idea.
Yeah.
I think it was...
Very good, Frank.
It's something like Samuel Plimsoll.
Yes, I believe it is.
You know when you hear a name and you think, like the typewriter, then you find the inventor something like Jeff Typewriter. Then you think, what's the chances? Like the saxophone was introduced by a bloke called Sax, right?
Yeah.
And you know when you associate, I always associate the saxophone with like a black man in shades and maybe a slightly long coat standing at a tube station.
Yeah.
That.
How very Athena Card of you.
Yeah, it was a very Ronnie Wood painting of me. But it was invented by a Belgian.
No.
Really?
Yeah, you don't think.
I don't think
you
it was
But I think, you see, I believe it was Charles Babbage who invented the computer. May I just say, I think I'd prefer them to be called Babbages.
Babbages, yeah.
Did he invent baggage?
Just need to reboot my Babbage.
I did it as a real vague one, like somebody called, Gordon Suitcase, who invented the suitcase. Have you got any good inventors' surnames? Do send them in. I like the very literal
12,
ones. When you've literally been... Yeah, 8, 12, 15. When you've literally get someone like Dave Sausage who invented the sausage. That just makes me so happy. Daisy was just saying that she had a showdown, as she put it, in a street with her child. And I can tell this story, can't I? And a woman came up and said, count to 10. And she counted to 10 and it works. So it's an old advice. Why didn't I say
I don't know
that?
if I would have liked that.
No.
I just think, I'll deal with this.
No, but that's it, you see. That's why I didn't get involved. And when Emily said I would have gone up, would you honestly have said something?
Yeah, I think I would have.
Really?
What if I'd just joined in with the wrestling?
But I love a scrap.
See, See, if you had said, I've actually got a bit of experience at this, I know quite a lot of these moves, why don't I just press my chest onto him?
Got him in a Boston crab.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I don't know, like I say, she might have
you've
been
gone
the
straight
bad
to
guy.
a high-level move there, but...
He was about 10, so he wasn't small,
What was the school uniform like?
I know what you're driving at here.
No, I'm just intrigued. Did it look smart?
A boater, a blazer, and some knee-length socks.
It probably
shorts.
looked a bit smarter before he started rolling about on the pavement. It was, grey. There was a lot of grey in a school uniform, grey jumper.
It wasn't white with like a black belt round it. In the middle, was it?
Yeah, she was wearing a similar outfit. I just assumed she was joining in. Actually, I wasn't in a street now, I was in a gymnasium. I was crossing a gymnasium as a shortcut.
What if it was some sort of prankster show? See, I just think everything is a prankster show now.
But then
For the interweb, that's why I don't get involved.
But wouldn't he have been like 35-year-old with a wig on? Or something like that? He was definitely a child.
Okay.
Right.
Anyway, I'd like to... What would you have done, Al?
I would have probably watched it to see what wrestling they weren't doing well, given that I have an interest, a passing interest in the grappling arts.
You've held up some signs like they do at those
You need to get both his shoulders on the floor. But no, I don't think I would have intervened.
No,
because I once intervened
difficult.
in Cardiff. I once intervened in a man.
You intervened in a man?
A man was shouting at another man, and I sort of stepped in, and I got punched in the face for my trouble.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Yeah, so I might not have done that in case the kid turned on me and then battered me.
So
I told you, look after that face.
So that's the message coming from Absolute Radio. Ignore criminal acts against others and just keep walking.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Do I sound a bit strange?
No.
Okay, it must just be my headphones. Sorry, everyone.
We've had a few texts in about inventions. You were looking for inventions that were invented by people with the name of the invention.
That's what I'm looking for.
So far we've not actually had that, but we have had from 610. My dad told me Dick Van Dyke invented the DVD player.
That's excellent.
Oh,
He says he believed him. I'm not sure.
Can I say I love that, Dad?
That's a I wonder if he was known as DVD, like AVB, and stuff like that.
And Henry Ford invented the Ford. That's from Simon the art dealer.
He did.
Yeah, that is a fact.
Yeah.
That is a fact, yeah. Good work.
Yeah. What was his big quote, Henry Ford? Didn't he say all history is bonk, wasn't that?
Oh, did he?
Oh, I think
I
so.
believe he also said any colour as long as it's black, and I love him for that.
Did he?
This is very fashion.
Okay. Did they do a matte version of that?
I don't know.
Matt Black.
Matt Ford.
Oh, nice.
It was I thought it was quite a obscure remark, but never mind, I threw it in. That's never stopped me on this show before, let's face it.
No.
I put my son to bed yesterday, and then he started, not yesterday, before he started crying, so I went up to see what was wrong.
You're going to have a grapple.
I think, yeah, he's a bit young for it. If this woman had been grappling with a 2-year-old, I think I might have had to have stepped in. But luckily I always keep mace. You always carry mace?
Mm-hmm.
I always carry mace. I didn't use it on this occasion. Anyway, so I went up to see what he was crying for, and he said, I've got a hair in my mouth. And I was quite nostalgic. I'd sort of forgotten.
Yeah.
I'd forgotten about having a hair in your mouth. And I thought, oh, do people still get that?
Well, I love the idea of crying as a result of it.
Yeah, exactly. I can imagine
What a brilliant way to approach life.
Yeah. I didn't know. You would think he looked to me. I felt like he thought you're a senior person.
Yeah.
You'll have worked out a way of dealing with it.
Right, you'll have a coping strategy.
And you know what? I haven't.
Yeah.
And then, would you believe this? I woke up this morning and I had a hair in my mouth.
No.
Oh, I thought you looked a bit red-eyed.
Kate Middleton, 19. No, honestly, I did. And I thought it's a weird coincidence, but I thought, there must be, when you get everything has got an old wives' tale, if you can say that, an old spouse's tale tied to it.
I think that's okay with old wives' tale.
Yeah, I think it might be sexist, doesn't
I
it?
think it's a phrase
It's
that
never stopped us
it
before.
hasn't been updated yet.
No, but
We'll go with the old one.
okay.
It's all right, I'm your diplomatic immunity, because I'm in the room. We're safe.
With a matriarchal tale, you'd think there would be something that is how to get an air out of your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That you have to do something.
Like lick a cat or eat something.
Lick a cat's tongue. So do tongues
What sort
with a
of
cat.
thing?
Do you know a cat?
Eat a bit of blue tack.
Cat's
That
got
might
those
get it.
sort of. Oh yeah. Well, not eat it, just chew it. Like,
I don't
actually,
think that's
chewing
very
gum-
responsible advice on Absolute Radio.
No,
Eat
no.
a bit of blue tack.
Can I say?
Hey, I'm spitballing here.
But you would be.
That's because of that blue tack.
But what about? But chewing gum's not a bad shout, is it?
No, that seems
If
alright.
you had chewing gum, that
That's
would.
a great idea to give to a child when he's in,
No,
in
I'm-
bed.
I meant for me. I couldn't have done it for
Okay.
him. With him,
Yeah,
I'd
chewing gum.
have just done that thing of doing the sellotape around my hand, like when you're removing lint from a velvet jacket, and then just gone over his tongue with it.
I like the fact that you said when removing lint from a velvet jacket and you looked at me rather than Emily. That was a strange moment.
I imagine you own a velvet
Often
jacket.
covered in the velvet.
Do you not have a midnight blue velvet jacket?
I don't, although
that you wear
I
for
mean-
corporate.
Bit Austin Powers.
I'd be in the market for one if anybody's going to send them. Don't
know
send
what?
it, I'll smash it up.
I must have at least...
I'm putting it on the brazier if it arrives. Actually, I'm putting it on Jeff Brazier. I think he'll carry it off.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
It may not surprise you to learn that we're having various people text us with the inventor of the toilet. So we'll just let's just park that and move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But thanks for joining in.
Put a lid on it. Yeah.
That's very good.
I like that Beyonce song.
I liked it so much I put a lid on it.
That'd be good if it was all the engaged ladies, all the vacant ladies. All the engaged ladies, all the vacant ladies. Yeah.
Anyway.
Got an itch.
She could be called Pee on Seat. Oh, no, it's gone very toilet.
It has.
I was trying to move things along as well. I wasn't trying to do a load of toilet-based puns.
Yeah, let's raise the tone. Let's talk about the hairs in your mouth.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, but that is... It's
a fact of life, Frank. It happens to us all.
Yeah, but I bet there's a cure for it. That yeah, we'll find it. Someone will come up with it. I mean, just could you imagine getting an airbrush that hasn't been drawn for a week and just, like, really munching on it?
Oh.
Exactly. Why is that so bad? 8, 12, 15. So, speaking of the body, the human body, when I lived... I moved house in December. Some of our regular listeners, readers might know. And where I used to live, there was a chiropodist in walking distance. And I was a regular. I'd never gone in for it before. Really got into it. Do you remember that time when he slightly slipped with his sanding thing and I got a face full of my own foot? Do you remember that?
No.
Yeah, I was in a shower of my own body. It was...
no.
Anyway, that's enough of those old anecdotes.
I doubt that.
Yeah, and since I've moved, I haven't found one. And I noticed the other day that I got a wooden floor in the bedroom. I walked across the other day. You know when you hear a dog walk across linoleum?
Yeah.
Oh, the scratching.
This wasn't my nails, this was just the hard skin on my... And...
have you got Middle-earth feet?
I think I may be a little taller since I've stopped going to a chiropodist. Honestly, it's really... it's building up. There's an espadrille sole forming on the bottom of my
How bad is it?
It's not I think I could do...
is it geographical map? Is it... You know when you'd see a picture of the Earth's core when you were doing geography?
It's very hard to see the bottom of your own feet.
Good point.
I mean, I'm not a flexible man in so many ways. And I don't know how you do that, because I think...
Position a mirror and sit in a seat.
Yeah, but it's a bit of a palaver, that you'll agree. It's an Anna Pavlova.
If you're passing a shoe shop, you could just go in and kick your shoes and socks off and have a little sit down, couldn't you? You know they've got the mirrors on the floor.
Oh, yeah, true.
I've got a wonderful Chinese man, and he will sort your feet out for you.
Okay.
Who just sands them down.
Is he a chiropodist?
No.
Okay.
I'll talk to you about him. But he will basically sand your feet down. He files them down. He'll get rid of all that skin.
But he's not a chiropodist.
You don't need a chiropodist.
What is he, a carpenter?
French polisher.
An odd job, man.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I get it. I needed the voice. Hold on.
Frank.
Let's just have a moment. I didn't do it. I didn't get that far.
What I'm going to call it is an extreme pedicure. And that's what you need.
I'm growing my own... You know those... is it wheelies, those things that kids have? Those trainers? I'm growing my own wheelies. I think I could probably... On a shiny floor, I reckon I could do between 15 and 20 feet on my own hard skin.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been to a chiropodist, so if you're getting taller, maybe that's the secret of my 6'3" height.
Yeah.
Perhaps if I went, I might come out and they'd go, oh...
Yeah, you'd have to roll your trousers up. Would that work? Is that right? Or wouldn't the height be below the trouser? If there's any mathematicians... If I had an inch of hard skin removed off the bottom of my feet, would I have to turn my trousers up, or would it be from another area? I can't work that out.
Oh, there's a solution to hair in the mouth as well, Frank, which I'll tell you in a minute.
OK, well, let's have some adverts, otherwise the entire station will close down.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
It's quite nippy in here, Frank.
It is a bit.
Alan offered me the use of his socks, and I'm debating whether to take him up on the offer. What say you?
Some clean socks. I did say I've got some clean, warm socks in my bag. I think I made it clear.
Are they sort of black nylon football socks?
I'll have a look if you want.
Okay.
I think they're.
I think it's a lovely offer.
Shall I do it?
Well, why not? If they're,
Okay.
they're clean socks.
If you're perishing because of the aircon, then, you
okay.
know, why not? Fill your boots.
And this took me into a reminiscence from Smethwick Supplementary Benefit Office in the 70s. When a young woman said to an old man, can I borrow your socks? My feet are cold. And he refused. She really pressed it as well. Come on, let's borrow your socks. Feet are cold. He was wearing them, can I point out? He wasn't carrying socks in there.
How could she put them on when he was wearing them?
Well, he'd have to take them off
Disgusting.
first. That's the process. He takes them off, she puts them on.
you
I
know
don't think
very
she was
well what I
suggesting
mean.
that she slid her feet into his socks.
I mean, I just
would've
think
been-
it's a disgusting prospect.
Well, yes, it was. I was appalled.
Well, I say that, but I'm about to slip into the cockerels.
Okay. And relax. Tell you what I could do. Those piranha, you know those piranha that do your feet?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the fishies.
Yeah.
That'd be a good way of
Let's
doing
go
it.
for a fishy peddy, Frank.
I might be... I
All
think
of us?
It'll be pretty... I might have
No,
to soften it up.
I said nothing about you.
I think I'll have to call into them first. I'd let them soak for half an hour first before you go at them, because they're pretty brittle. What I need... Perhaps if I got, say, 5 or 6 devil dogs in a sack, put my feet in there. just to break the crust of it.
The devil dog peddy, I love it.
Yeah. So, the Devil Dog Peddy. Now, their second album was brilliant.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I saw a pig this week.
What?
Yeah.
Did you?
An often thing you see in central London.
What
No.
go on?
I went to a sort of one of these urban farms.
Again?
You know what I'm talking about? And there
What was on offer? Because, no
was
offence, but I've found there's a lot of threadbare rabbits when I've been and not much else.
well, there was one pig, which I felt sorry, I've been in solitary for a pig. And it's one of these animals which I've moaned about before on the show that wouldn't come out.
Oh.
So
It's not
she
your
was
favourite kind,
largely in her living quarters, I think she, and just lying around on grass.
There was a lion.
But really,
What were you
Oh, yeah.
expecting from a pig gymnastics display?
I know, but I mean, really not making any sort of effort at all.
Okay.
And there was 2 cows.
Aren't there always?
I think that was about it. I think there might have been sheep, but you know,
I hate it when they put...
they don't count, do they?
sometimes they put a dog in a pen.
And if you count them, of course, you can become drowsy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see a dog in a
I know,
pen.
I've seen that where they pretend that's one of the farm animals. You can't do that.
No, but the pig was... I mean, I suppose, you know, even so, it still seemed quite exciting to see 2 cows and a pig in the middle of London.
Where
In
was
the same
this?
way that, say if you went into the country and held up, say, an iPad,
Yes.
you can imagine
You can stop
locals
traffic.
coming
Yeah,
out
yeah.
of their cottages to come and have
Yeah.
It was like that. Like like I'd gone to them, they'd come to me. Yeah, I liked it. You have to wash the advice on washing your hands is obsessive in the extreme. You have to wash your hands like, if you look at a pig, you have to wash your hands.
If
Right.
you look at one.
Yeah, just to look at
Yeah.
one. Just in case in your mind you imagined its coarse exterior.
Of course. Nice.
Turns out it was one of those really hairy pigs. You know, you think pigs, they're not that hairy.
Oh, they're not
except in-
soft, they're her suit.
Except
Is that
in
how you got that
illustrations.
hair in your throat? Give it a
Exactly.
kiss goodbye.
I like a bit of crackling.
It's the backs I don't like.
The
I
backs?
They've got backs like Madonna.
Yeah. Luckily, it was wearing a frock coat,
Oh, good.
so that wasn't really her problem. The pig in the city anecdote, I think, is the one that could swing the award for us this year.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Ellen Cochrane. Helen? Cochrane? Yeah. It's a girls' day here. Text in on 81215, follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the show via the Absolute Radio website.
We've already had an email in. Well, actually, I believe it's a text. 671. Frank, Emily and Alan, I think my mum has an OC, obscure crush, on the cockerel. But she's married with 3 children, so keep your chicken drumstick off.
That's fine.
Also, Day of the Triffids was a question on Pointless, Emily. Oh my God.
Was it? Yes. What, a general one about the book or about your particular production from the 1980s?
I don't know, but obviously I'll be ordering that immediately.
Ordering it, you say?
Yeah.
And as for the married with 3 children, that's fine. It's fine. It's good to be an obscure crush of any woman.
You can't write people off because they're married with 3 children.
No, not at all.
Doesn't mean that they haven't stopped longing.
And hey, who knows what the future brings, eh?
Lovely.
Russell Grant. Tonight, Justin Toper.
Justin Toper?
Yeah, he knows.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Oh, God, yeah. Meg.
Oh, yeah.
I can't think of any more. You think of any more? They're not as big as they used to be.
Those I'm going to call them your Mount Rushmore of astrologers, really.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It doesn't get bigger than Toper.
Well, I'd say Grant's bigger than Toper. Grant is bigger than Toper, that's what we say in our house when we're arguing about clairvoyance as we sit around. Bing Crosby there with his arguing against clairvoyance, about clairvoyance, new single.
I think it's time for a bit of Bieber watch on this show.
Now, Mystic Meg's a phony. She worked for a newspaper, writing things like weather when suddenly took on the stars. Bing. Yeah? I don't know if it's working, mate. Yeah, right. Bing. I don't think Bing took it well.
See, I think...
I don't think Bing was familiar with the concept of yeah, right.
I think...
Either, somehow.
See if you can corroborate this, Emily Dean. I have a suspicion that Mr. Frank Skinner, when hosting this show, has, in case of emergency, break glass. If he's not being funny, I think he bursts into song.
I'm not being funny.
If he thinks he's not being funny, he bursts into song. I'm segueing into this Justin Bieber story, you may have noticed.
Yeah.
I think Frank burst into song. Bieber got booed by a crowd.
Bieber got
booed. And he stripped down to his Calvins, not Calvin Classics.
No, if only he'd been wearing Calvin Classics.
I mean, then it would have been comedy, wouldn't it?
If the elastic band slightly separated from the main
really
garment.
Afraid. And they weren't gripping the top of his thighs, just sort of gone baggy like a couple of years in.
The thing about them is they're too tight on the top of the thigh.
What, the classics?
Yeah,
Does the elastic band get liberated from the pant area?
I think it takes part in an independence vote.
Over time.
It steadily moves away is what happens. But that's what happens, is if you're not careful, you can be out walking wearing just the elastic band.
He was naked, almost, except for the Calvins.
But he turned the gig around. They were booing him at a fashion thing, and he stripped down to the boxer shorts, and they cheered him.
Yeah.
Amazing.
He's hench, isn't he?
It's worth knowing, though.
It is, yeah.
In fairness to Bieber, it's not a torso to be trifled with.
No, he's got low body fat, so he's got a six-pack there.
I think there's a lot of people who'd like to trifle with the Bieber torso.
Indeed.
If I was at a gig and it was going badly, I can't imagine stripping down to my pants. I can
imagine you bursting into song, though.
Yes.
I'll tell you what, I was looking at myself in the mirror the other day. It's not a good idea. Not the feet, just the... And what I've found is that you rarely see one upright, but I look like a pterodactyl. If you can imagine a pterodactyl upright, you know, that sort of like pointy, shouldered, haunched thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You've got body dysmorphia.
Okay, if I went, I could probably get work in a Ray Harryhausen movie.
Oh, I dream of a body like that.
What, a pterodactyl body with his...
I dream of pterodactyl.
I love pointy edges.
There was something weird going on, though, with Bieber's. He had a thigh gap.
He did have a thigh gap.
But, I mean, he had quite a big thigh gap.
Yes.
It looked like he'd got a pair of Lego boxer shorts on and someone had taken a brick out the middle.
Oh.
He said when he stripped, he said, "So what's up? Is that cool?" Oh, it's a bit needy.
Yes, I just think there was something wrong about what was downstairs on Bieber. There was a gap. I mean,
what
an
are you
actual
suggesting?
gap. I don't know what to suggest.
You're saying he's been in some kind of accident?
I think he
I
might...
mean, he does ride motorcycles, but I don't think it's had an effect on his gait.
It looks like he thought, I'm going to strip down to my pants, so I'll take this whole controversial section out and leave that.
Right.
It looked like there was a piece... I mean, look, I don't
Like he's wearing invisible boxer shorts, like made of
Are you saying
was a
he looked a bit
thigh gap.
Ken doll?
Well, more so than... I really couldn't work it out. It looks like a square gap at the top of his thighs. I mean, square, and...
Yeah, I think that's just the shape of the trunk, is it not?
You know what I think this is? I think you've overanalyzed that section.
Klein by name, Klein by nature. That's what we say in Germany.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This whole story about Bieber has made me realise that I actually don't know any of his songs. I just know him as a media...
Oh, no, I don't know any of his songs.
...media figure. Which is why I was very grateful for the capital letter, because the news article says the baby singer first appeared on stage in a powder blue coat, but baby is a capital B, because if it was a small, it would be the baby singer.
That's the only way I learn about the modern back catalogue.
Capitals.
The Crazy For You star. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's how I... But
a baby singer in a powder blue coat does make Bieber sound really, really young. I know he is young, but he's not a baby singer in a powder blue coat, is he?
What happened to the powder blue coat when he took his...
He took it off. He created...
Just threw it on the floor.
I imagine he created quite a bit of litter for a little while.
When he left, did he gather all his clothes?
Did he have to run around in his socks gathering everything up?
No, but you know when you walk and then you drop one of the socks and you have to stop and pick that up and all that.
It turned out he had it all in one of those drawstring JD sports bags that he brought on with him.
I thought he rolled it up in a towel.
You know what disappointed me was that Lara Stone was quoted as saying, he said, is that better?
Lara Stone was on stage with him.
Yeah, she was co-presenting it. And he said, when he stripped to the Calvin Classics, he said, is that better? And she was quoted as saying, somewhat, which I thought was brilliant.
Somewhat.
But it turned out she only said so much, and I wish it had been somewhat, because that was very Dame Maggie Smith. Somewhat.
So much.
Joyfully either withering or encouraging. That's great.
But hold on, what does so much? Is that better?
So much better.
So much better.
Yeah.
Oh, I see, so much,
Yeah. I couldn't do that. I couldn't adopt that policy. As you know...
Maybe she'd say kumquat. This is a bit of a dig. How was that? Kumquat. Hey, come on. Give me a break here.
Doing my best here, but
I'm trying to turn this round here. What are you doing?
doing my best here, but it's freezing.
Yeah. Kumquat. Now quit that! Now cut that out!
But under the powder blue coat that he was originally sporting, he had like a black vest garment on, and then some black trousers, and
I don't like a man in a black vest.
He still confidently stripped down. See, I think even if I'd only put that black vest on just before entering the stage area, when I stripped down, I would have belly button fluff the size of a squash ball, I think.
Do you know what?
I'm a one-man belly button
wrong,
fluff
but
machine.
I'd love it if you stripped down mid-gig.
Yeah, it's not...
Oh, hey, ho.
No, just because... it would amuse me. And I don't think things would ever get that desperate for either of you. I've got to be honest. I mean, Frank, you obviously say... You've said this before, haven't you? You pointed out that when people feel the need to sort of either put overly lavish clothes on or none at all, you say, obviously got a lot of faith in your material.
There's some truth in that.
How do you both feel about that? I'm sure... Have you resorted to anything ever that you're ashamed of?
Well, my act.
Yeah.
Yes.
Basically, years of new laddish yobbishness is what I turn to. And it works, I'll stop with it.
At bad gigs, I wish I had a coping strategy like strip off, but I basically just do my act a bit quicker and go home slightly earlier.
Yeah, just do it a bit quicker.
But I think, and this is perhaps a stand-up comedy showbiz secret, but it's well known that when your time is nearly up, say if you're doing a 20-minute set at the comedy store, they would give you a red light on, say, 17 or 18 minutes. So I think what happened was Bieber was meant to do 6, and he came on, he started getting booed, he looked up, he saw that the light wasn't on, and he thought, I'll kill a bit of time, I'll strip off, and then they lit him on 5, and he thought, we're in the home straight now. So you're just killing a bit of time waiting for his red light.
Bit of technical insight there.
He's waiting for his red light to come on.
World of live entertainment. I saw one of the best turning round of crowds. I'll have to tell you this after, because again, adverts. But I saw a man turn a crowd into from a silent group into a communal party with at one stroke. Later.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
My turning a crowd round thing. What happened was I was at a hotel and it was New Year's Eve.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't like this story.
we went down for dinner, and the hotel manager had decided that he would, because it was New Year's Eve, he was going to make the whole thing communal. So when we got down, he'd put all the tables into one big circular table, and all the guests, none of whom knew each other, we all had to sit around one big table.
Right.
There was like 20 of us, I suppose.
Yeah.
And no one, that people spoke to the person I was with, but no one spoke to each other at all. It was the most terrible, excruciating, silent failure, social failure. And suddenly this bloke got up, quite like a fat bloke with a moustache, and he went, I feel good. And everybody went, everybody did that. I mean, you just had to do it. And then he did the whole thing. And we did all the, and it completely turned things around. So remember that if you're at like a family,
James
not
Brown.
a funeral.
I'll just start singing I Feel Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Honestly.
I'll bear that in
Yeah,
mind.
definitely don't do that at a funeral.
What's the next line in I Feel Good?
I knew that I
knew
would.
that I
now.
would.
Now.
Now.
No, isn't it I knew that I would of?
No, he's not from Birmingham.
No, I think
I knew that I would of.
You know when people say of
James
instead
Brown.
of have? I think it is. I think he says, I knew that I would of.
No, he's not from Dudley. He didn't say
We don't
that.
know he isn't from Dudley.
We do.
I think
And he also,
that is in the public domain, I think.
he also,
He's got
the third line is an Albinia. Either.
I think he goes, I feel good. I knew what I would of. Honestly.
Wow, that's some weird syntax he's got
No,
going on
it's
there.
that thing, you know, the kids make this mistake when they say would of instead of would have.
Yeah.
You'll see.
I mean, he was a pretty senior figure at the point that he was still singing it in that way.
Well, they've just made a film about him, so we'll
time
get
will tell.
to the bottom of this.
As it happens, we've had
Ken
177
Dodd's playing
texting.
James Brown, which is a weird piece of casting.
177 has texted.
Are you
Frank.
going to read this?
Yeah, I'm going to read it. I don't mind.
Good luck.
He's not going to shoot the messenger, is he? It's coming from 177. I'm just reading it to him.
Go on.
Frank, surely your reaction to a fading gig is kissing Greg Davies.
Oh.
That's absolutely correct.
Yeah.
We should say Frank once
We
did
did
that
cover it on the show, didn't we?
What
Yes.
was it, Frank?
It was on Let's
Dance for Comic Relief.
You know what, Dan? You know there's about Friday. If you hadn't have stopped me then, I was just about to say Let's Die for Comic Relief. And yes, it was. We did do that. We kissed, which is a thing. If ever you see two males kissing on the telly, I don't mean like a gay kiss moment, but like comedians horseplay. It's the last measure.
Oh, is it?
It's that moment when they open the last tin of prawns in Captain Scott's snow-covered tent, and they know they're all going to die. It's the last thing. So you're quite right. Well spotted.
Is that what ended them? Seafood?
I think that's what was it. Was it
Did
prawns?
they eat prawns?
I've no idea what they had.
Well, I would have
cares
done it.
about 'em now?
No
It's gone.
wonder.
They made their own minds up, you know. But they weren't forced to go. Yes, you heard it here first. It's about time that the record was set straight on that. They were reckless.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
Frank, you may remember on this show that we actually announced some live breaking news not long ago, which was to do with this disappearance of Arj.
Oh, I thought you meant the previous link when Frank was saying that they were reckless on the Scott
Captain
expedition.
Robert Falcon Scott's
That
team.
was also a form of live breaking news. That was our ticker tape.
Yes.
But Frank...
You say that'll be all over the Sundays tomorrow.
Handicap.
How's that Wayne Bridge? Anyway, yes.
Anyway,
I remember the
I remember
Arj
exactly.
was lost.
Yes, I believe you broke the news very sensitively by saying Arj once was lost but now is found.
Yes,
to the tune of
indeed.
Amazing Grace.
Yeah, it's lovely.
It was a lovely way to talk about.
Obviously, I'm
police
struggling.
manhunt. Yes. But Arj has spoken out about the missing hours in his life.
Oh, that spoilt it.
Oh.
Well, I was worried sick. He says...
I can't say I was worried sick. I've got to be honest with you now, to be absolutely laying my cards on. It was like... Have you ever... I remember once when I lived with David Baddiel, and we got a Christmas card from Curry Paradise, local Indian restaurant, which is nice, and we mislaid it. I wasn't that bothered if we didn't find it. You know what I mean? I mean, it was
fine.
It wasn't someone I knew well.
Compare Arj to Curry Paradise.
I felt the same about...
So insensitive.
I thought, if we don't find him...
Oh, was this Curry Paradise story
I think
a sort
he
of
likes
parable?
I think he likes a Curry Paradise sort of thing.
Yeah, I could have, you know, it wasn't one of the cards I was desperate to find and get up there on the ribbon. We'd put the ribbons up. It was all about filling the ribbon. And I think in many ways art is all about filling the celebrity ribbon.
Yes.
When one puts up the celebrity decorations.
I would agree. I don't quite know who he is, really.
Oh.
But people like him,
Well,
don't they?
Do you remember Argent, the band? Hold your head up. Ah, hold your head up.
Vaguely.
Well, he's got a similar name to them.
Well, that's cleared that up.
Anyway.
Sorry, Miss Jackson.
Arj it was very simple. He was meant to get on a flight. He missed his flight, so he checked into a hotel.
Can I point out he missed his flight by being at the wrong airport?
He was at the wrong airport. We've all done it. And he said, I basically just chilled in the hotel with no battery. I don't like the sound of that.
Yeah, I struggle with
the
this.
cleaner woke him up. She
With-
knocked on the
with all
door.
that
The
nights like
cleaner's
that.
some
Oh.
Hetty Wainthropp investigates time, because why the hotel staff, who had his name, didn't realise he was missing, I don't know.
That's a good point, yeah.
But she knocked on the door, she said, "You're missing."
Why didn't he have Do Not Disturb up?
Well, they tend to ignore that anyway, don't they, in most hotels?
Why didn't he have a battery? There's all sorts of questions that
Why
need
didn't he have a
answered.
charger?
Is he literate?
Is he literate? Is that-
What do we think? I mean, did he put up "Please make up my room"?
when he meant, please do not disturb.
Yeah, please make up my room, and while you're at it, make up my excuse for disappearing. Yeah. And was it a publicity stunt, do we think?
I wonder.
I mean, the most shocking thing, the moment when I was genuinely concerned, was when I discovered he had an agent. and the agent was waiting for him at the airport. Where were they going? They were flying somewhere. He's going abroad with his agent. I mean, what are they doing?
You were on in London.
Where are they
He's
go-
flying somewhere.
Where are they going?
Seems wrong, doesn't it?
Yeah, Sundance Festival. Any sense at all?
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Oh, I need to talk to you about my week. Because, can you both stop looking at Sky News, please? I did something...
Sorry, I absolutely hanker for a tok-tok. I don't mean plastic surgery, I mean...
Oh, we'll talk about it afterwards.
Okay.
Snack.
I did something a little bit trendy.
Did
Ice
you
bucket
do-
challenge.
Oh,
No.
I won't do that. I think it's disrespectful to the victims of the Titanic disaster.
Good point. Good
I
point.
won't do it, but just because of my hair.
Vaping.
No, I went to a gig.
Oh.
Now, I don't often go to gigs, for reasons which will become clear.
Was it the Royal Opera
Presently.
House?
No, I went to Kasabian.
Oh.
I'm glad I pronounced it right. Imagine if I'd have said Kasabian.
Yeah, that would have
It'd
been
been
bad.
all right.
Kasabian. I'm going to call them that now. Kind courtesy of Absolute Radio. It was
Nice.
an intimate gig. I took Daisy, producer, with me. She went a bit Mum's Gone Wild. You know when
Did
the
she?
mums have to stay in too much and they don't get out that often?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Like babysitter o'clock.
It was hands in the air like she just didn't care.
Drunk by about 7:45. Yeah. I know the drill.
I kissed a girl and I like it. Okay.
No, the
when you
evening
say it
didn't go
was
in that
an
direction.
intimate gig, how
Well-
small are we talking?
It's funny you should say that, because I was told it was intimate. Now, if I'm told there's going to be an intimate evening with celebrities,
Yeah.
any more than 7, I'm a little bit surprised.
Mm-hmm.
They were about 500, would you say, Days?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I imagine that's quite small for a Kasabian gig,
Yeah.
says the man who hasn't no idea.
Casabian.
Well, to put
We
this in
were-
context, I was offered Kasabian tickets for last Friday night in Manchester, but I had to reject them because I was in London in readiness to perform on this very show a week ago, and then I was also offered a trip to the Kasabian show.
All right,
on
we all
Tuesday
know
night.
you're one of the gang.
and I had to turn that down also because of a professional engagement. So I'm pretty upset about that.
Okay.
But the first one that I turned down was in an arena, so they're an arena band. But
Okay,
seeing
should we
them with
talk about
500
the
people
things
in
you
is-
didn't do, or the things I did do?
Coincidentally,
go on,
I once
yeah.
turned down Tina Arena.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So, about 500, Al.
Yeah. Intimate.
Yeah.
That
But
is
on
intimate.
an elevated tier section, I got a stamp and a wristband.
Mm-hmm.
I was like a pig in the city.
Yeah.
And
What, you wouldn't come out?
I like being in an elevated tier section. I checked out Kasabian's hair. Everything's fine. There's no Prince William issues.
It's quite big.
They're all
big
fine.
hair.
What,
some
that
of them.
Serge?
How many
Yeah,
are
he's
there?
got big. I don't know. How many
How many
are there?
would you
That's
say
today's
there are?
texting. 4.
I love the way how many are there, like someone asking the population of Manchester. How many are there? About 5, I reckon.
Well, 4 is about 5.
Well, I think it's 5.
Okay.
Anyway, Daisy and
It's
I...
good that we're presenting a show on
a rock
one of the
station.
country's leading music things. You don't know how many people are in Kasabian.
I like their
We-
music, but I can't do a count while listening to
No.
it because they could have double recorded stuff, couldn't they?
Well, exactly. So Daisy and I, we hung out with the Breakfast Crew, the OC. We hung out with Richie, who was charming. We didn't see much of the OC because he was a bit bridezilla. He was running around. It was his big night, I think.
Was he hosting it?
No,
He's introducing
no.
people.
No, that
Oh,
was
okay.
Pete Donaldson.
All right.
He was too busy to speak to us as well. Mm-hmm. But what I found about Kasabian
Yeah.
is that I like that they don't do own stuff like Kate Bush. They do all the greatest hits, which is good. But tell you what I hated? You can't talk. And I realised this about gigs. I love talking, Frank. That's all I like to do. And I've actually discovered that. So I was talking and I could see. I mean, that Richie was thinking, well, this woman never shut up. I hated having to be quiet because I think however good their music is, how could it possibly be more interesting than what I've got to say? I'm sorry.
I mean, this is the first time I've ever thought this about you, but would you have genuinely been happier at the Wetherspoons round the corner?
I love Kasabian, but I just would rather be sharing a funny anecdote. So I just pushed the hell on through. I talked throughout the entire night.
Oh, God.
Oh, you're one of those people.
I
I
just...
feel the same revulsion I did when you said that you drive in the middle lane all the way there.
No,
Oh, no.
I became like a musical accompaniment, my drone, throughout the night.
No, I know.
like
You've been behind me at every hospitality gig I've ever
Yeah.
been to. There's
Yeah.
always someone saying, "Yeah, well, I saw Giles and we had some really great grass down there." Oh, please. Never have I more wanted a backpack flamethrower than in the hospitality. Well, Kath, my girlfriend Kath, went to the Friends and Family Kate Bush
Oh, did
gig,
she?
which was a very
Friends and family. That was quick.
yeah,
Family already.
and she sat behind a well-known actress who I probably shouldn't name, and who talked throughout, and even talked in a slightly, taking the mickey out of the show, kind of.
I won't have that.
Unacceptable. Black mark there to Fiona Shaw.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text the show on 81215.
And they
Please,
have.
if you please. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio if it suits you. And email the show via the Absolute Radio website if you have time.
nicely done.
I don't know what I realise I'm reading it as a command.
Yeah, you don't want to boss them around, do you?
God, no.
Not the readers.
I don't have it in me.
No.
Right.
Not nowadays.
As Bing Crosby said, yeah, right.
When the gold up... Sorry.
Oh, you're not going to not burst into song just because of what I said.
Exactly, no, if you made me self-conscious.
Really? Well done. I like
Alun
it.
said earlier in the show that Frank likes to burst into song if he thinks he's not being funny.
It wasn't
Just
meant
a
as...
recap for any readers that missed that
wasn't meant
moment.
as combat.
Quite awkward moment in my life.
Well, it's not been as awkward as when I said that I thought the first episode of this series of Doctor Who was all right. And that I thought cricket was a terrible game. I mean, that was a real...
They were both quite awkward moments.
Yeah.
But, you know, we got through it.
Sometimes I wonder why Frank employs such honesty around him. I mean,
I think it's good to have...
you could just have sycophants who agreed with you and went, yeah, mate, great.
I could, but I don't want a yes man, or as the French, I think, call it a wee hum.
Yeah.
I don't want to surround myself with wee hums.
No, that's a good rule. On the subject of the Doctor Who, and to a certain extent your forthcoming appearance, there may be a new
October the 11th.
headline-grabbing cameo in town. I don't know if the readers will be aware, but Hollywood superstar George Clooney.
George Clooney!
George Clooney.
He's,
you know him.
Crazy for Love star.
Looks like Greek...
George Clooney.
Or as I call him, Greek Dad on the school run.
Gorge, and he's going to take a guest role in TV hit Downton Abbey for a charity sketch, apparently.
Well, that's it. He's not quite
quite
doing
a cameo, is it?
He's not quite doing Downton Abbey, is he?
He could just be in Downton Abbey, surely, if he phoned his agent. Unless his agent is going to somewhere with Arge. Imagine they've got the same agent.
They've got the same agent. So who do you represent at a party? I've got George Clooney, Arge I've got. Sorry? You know Arge? Arge? What is that? You know Arge, you're from Towie. Clooney, I know. Arge? Who is this guy, Arge? Steve, why don't I know about Arge? Okay, I wish Arge would go out with someone called Tina. I'm going to say Argentina. It's coming.
Good, very good.
Coming round tonight.
Don't cry for me.
Very good.
Anyway, where were we? Greek Dad on the school run, not that fast.
George Clooney's going to go into Downton Abbey for a sketch, but I still think he could get in it. He could get in it, couldn't he? Like, he could do something about the Boston Tea Party. So I might have got my history wrong, time-wise, but they could fit it in, couldn't they?
Yeah,
they could just put in...
If you want. Well, they could have... Certainly, any American could turn up at any time at Downton. Well, they've got to the First World War now, have they?
Yeah, so
I think they've got... I don't follow it.
I don't keep up with it.
Will there be a point when they'll be in space?
What,
yes.
Downton?
Well, they're going to keep... Because they're rattling through the centuries.
Are they?
Well, they're already the First World War, I think, has been and gone.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
It's a bit like Doctor Who in that respect. But this is a sketch on ITV's Text Santa.
Oh, yeah, so you're familiar with Text Santa?
Yeah, but I have to
Did
say...
you do it?
And don't get me wrong, all charity obviously does good, ultimately. But I'm worried about... Since he's signed with Archie's agent,
Yeah.
things have gone wrong for Clooney. Because
Really?
he said... Archie's agent has said to him, the thing is, George, if you're going to do a charity show in the UK, there's only one to go for, and that's Text Santa. Is that
That's
right
not the
advice?
big one, is it? No. It should have gone.
What he's done, he was trying to get Arge on Text Santa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've said no, and he said, I'll tell you what if I can get Clooney on?
That's what he's done.
Will you take Arge? I bet you Arge is a sort of a well-meaning houseboy in that same sketch.
Can I tell you something? What I think's going to happen? Next thing you know, they'll both be on Let's Dance for Comic Relief. The Kiss.
Oh, yeah?
I think
Arge and Clooney.
The same agent might
Don't
have
cry
Santa
for me,
as well.
Arge and Clooney. Yeah? Well, you just watch what's happening. I know how this business works. Don't worry about that.
You don't.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
had a text in, Frank, from 056. Who's not listening live. He's at a funeral at the moment. But he said he came home the other night.
Should it be texting?
I don't know. And I turned on the TV, and there was Frank on Top of the Pops 2, playing the French horn. Can Frank actually play the French horn?
Well, no.
Oh, okay.
It's just that we were miming to the track. This is when 3 Lions was on Top of the Pops. We were miming to the track, and so I thought I might as well go through the miming ceiling.
You were doing a sub.
TV fakery, yeah.
My manager, however, plays the French horn at orchestra level.
Is that true?
That's helpful.
Yeah.
056 also says, I heard Nugget text another show the other day. He's moonlighting.
God damn it!
I heard that Nuggets signed up with Arj and George Clooney's agent. That's the big 3. They're there.
That's, what about if he married someone called Mabel? Mabel Arj, she'd be called that.
Mabel Arj.
That's a bit like Marble Art. Oh, what a beautiful morning! Anyway, I had an exciting cameo, of course.
Well, of course.
In the Doctor Who?
No, I wasn't on about that. Well, that's yet to be aired.
Mm-hmm.
What one were you in then?
I was the mystery voice on a local radio show on Emmerdale.
Were you?
Yeah.
Shut up, you weren't.
Yeah, so the plot was, that they thought they'd won 10 grand or something.
Mm-hmm.
And they got to hear you.
And, and in the end, I think they got the voice wrong or something.
And they guessed Adrian Charles, and it was you.
But, it's another tick on the list, it's one of the country's leading soaps.
It is.
What about Pope John Paul II in Brookside? Do you remember that?
No.
Yes, because Sheila and Bobby Grant, I do remember they went to Rome.
Was he in the background?
He was in the background when they went to Rome, and the brilliant thing was it did say as himself. He was in the credits.
Fantastic.
Pope John Paul II.
Brilliant.
That's the best one.
The best?
Yeah.
It could have been John Paul II as God's representative on Earth. What about if they'd gone that far?
That would be great.
What about that for a credit?
I mean, I don't think it's the best, though. Surely the best is Alan Cochrane as barman in Not Going Out.
Oh, yes, that gets brought up quite a lot.
The more I think about it, the more I think that barman must have changed jobs or, perhaps they've started drinking in a different establishment, because it does not seem to be coming to fruition as a regular role for me.
No.
What about when Jack DiMarnio was walked into reception on Crossroads?
I don't remember that. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
It did happen, but if anyone gets that, I would congratulate anyone who knows that. Jack DiMarnio was actually a leading figure in radio in this country.
Is that right?
So let us, full respect. In fact, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm going to play this just for Jack DiMarnio.
Okay.
Hello, Mr. Radio.
We don't do enough DiMarnio-based requests
We
on
really
Absolute
don't.
Radio.
Oh, fine. Chris Lowe. Now, do you know the Pet Shop Boys one? Mm-hmm. The one with the baseball cap?
Oh, yes. The one who isn't the other one, basically.
Yeah.
He had an encounter with Helen Daniels in Neighbours.
Did he?
I can't remember what it was exactly, but I'm sure he was in Neighbours. He was.
Oh, there's some good Neighbours cameos.
Yeah.
Are there? Who
Yeah.
else?
Oh, yeah, Russell Crowe.
Clive
all
James,
sorts.
Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
Can't remember the others now. Give me a second.
No, it's all right. I'm not prepared to give you a second.
I want you to...
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I'll tell you what. Shall we go to the corner?
Oh, yeah. Oh, you know what that means, the corner.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The jingle.
Here we go.
Just gets better.
It's a grower.
Yeah.
It's a grower. I have in my possession an email to read to you. Greetings, mirth makers.
Is it from the German Chancellor Herr Hitler? That's what that sounded like. I have in my possession.
Apropos of nothing at all, I thought I would point out a curious use of language on the show. I think that might be apropos of something. Frank often says underestimated, when most people would say underappreciated or undervalued, while etymologically correct. Let me see what he's done. He's put correct like I say it. In modern English, underestimated is usually used in relation to something's strength, rather than to make a judgment of its worth. Even if this missive reaches Mr. Radio, I have no doubt he will continue to use the word in his own unique way, in keeping with his reputation as a bit of a linguistic git. Why is it always me that's the bearer of bad news on these?
I don't know. It's So I'm using that wrongly if I say someone's a bit underestimate.
I think you're saying that you're using it rightly, but somewhat unfashionably.
Oh, I see.
What about, when people do what they call a guesstimate?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they say, a guesstimate would be blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. If they are a bit low, have they underguestimated?
Yes.
Do people say that?
No, but you could start it.
Okay, I'm going to say that now.
I think you will.
You are a tastemaker and a trailblazer, after all.
In that case, maybe things that lots and lots of people like, but I'm not that keen on. Mm-hmm. It could be said that I underestimate. Do you see what I mean? Because my yes is much, much fainter than theirs.
No, that one doesn't work.
Okay, I'll do that one then.
The terrible one.
That was just, I'm throwing it all out there. Isn't it a lovely day to get caught in the rain?
He adds, P.S. No night's move from me. I don't think my neck of the woods needs any introduction to Emily, prisoner 78127 Muswell Hill.
Oh, he's in the North London area.
27 years old.
Oh, that's why. Well, it could be his address, 27 Muswell Hill.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't have read it out if it is.
That's some property.
Why don't we start doing that, reading out the names and addresses of people?
All right, yeah,
isn't enough for that?
Should we start doing that instead of the last 3 digits of the phone number? From now on, I'll just start reading out the entire phone number.
Well, it'd be nice then. It's all our readers could all get to know each other a bit more. We'd be a social network. What do you think?
Yeah.
We need to. What can we call ourselves?
What about book? Twitbook. Yeah. So because we're all sort of twits in a way,
and bookish.
You know what I'm saying? And bookish. Yeah, book twits.
Yeah, book twits. Hang on, there is a book twits.
Is there a book twits?
Yeah.
No, I like
a Roald Dahl.
I like Twitbooks because it sounds ridiculous.
Okay,
let's have Twitbooks.
So we'll add
That's
that.
Our
so
social
anyone
network.
wants to get in touch with everyone else who emails.
Contact us on.
It's not legal to do this.
What?
To give out
to just launch a business on air.
Well, you can do that.
Oh, can we?
What can't we do?
Well, I mean,
why are you going on about
the
legality?
OC's making a fortune of boot sales with those Wix tools. But I don't think we can do this.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
We're still in the corner. And I'm going to share with you a missive from DJ Pele.
DJ Pele?
DJ Pele.
At last. I knew being in the same building as Kiss FM would rub off on us, and here we are. We've arrived.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Frank, Emily and Alun. Long-time listener / first-time subscriber. Great show. Well done on award. Who? Blah, blah. I live... What's blah, blah? The Triffids. I live in Dubai now, since March, and was listening to my backlog of your podcasts when I heard you all start speaking about staying in a wine-themed room not long ago. I just wondered if you've ever stayed in a hotel in Gateshead, which also has themed rooms. I stayed there many moons ago in a room I think you would have loved being a John Wayne fan. It was a cowboy-themed room.
Fab.
The walls were dark wood with wagon wheels, old-style pictures on the walls.
Very good.
The bedside lamps were fashioned as oil lamps.
Brilliant.
The furniture looked like it belonged in a saloon, and the bed was a wagon, complete with fabric roof.
Brilliant.
It was a fab night's sleep, but it felt really weird when I woke up in the morning. My friend stayed in another one of the rooms in the hotel, fashioned as a sheikh's harem. All fab, but don't know if it's still there. So that's from DJ Pele.
I wonder if he left a circle in the wagon.
My concern with that would be the security of my possessions, because obviously if it's got one of those saloon doors, people could just walk in and help themselves to your iPad.
Well, not just my possessions, but my privacy when I'm doing my ablutions.
Yes.
I mean, I get up to all sorts.
The swinging doors.
In there.
It sounds great, though.
It does sound good.
Where is it?
It's in Gateshead.
Gateshead.
Okay.
That's how you say it.
He says I live in Dubai, is that right?
Yes, he lives in Dubai now since March.
He lives in Dubai.
It's interesting that because normally if someone says I live in Dubai, I've written them off as a human being before they get to the end of the sentence.
Yeah.
But I actually I like the sound of this guy.
Yeah.
It makes me think now maybe I judge people too harshly.
Yeah.
Oh, you think?
That's possible.
What gave you that idea?
See, I stuck with it with this guy. Now it turns out he likes a Western-themed room, which is...
Yeah, loves John Wayne.
I really like...
I like the sound of DJ Pele.
Well, you stayed in a Beatles hotel, didn't you? I really like the idea of themed.
Yes.
Oh, I love that Beatles hotel.
I don't think I've
stayed in a lot of bed and breakfasts where the theme seems to be bleakness.
Yes, but I don't think that's official.
Oh, isn't it? Oh, I just thought it was a thing that they'd all agreed on.
I've stayed at like a Walt Disney one, but I really like the idea of a themed.
Oh, I love a Walt Disney one.
I'd like something a bit more obscure.
I told you my favourite.
What about Rip Off Britain?
Oh,
there's a theme.
Rip Off Britain themed hotel.
Or Broken Britain.
Scott and Bailey.
Scott and Bailey.
A Scott and Bailey themed hotel. I'd be there, and I've never seen it, but I just respect them for their grasping of obscurity. Respect.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We need to discuss grooming. I regularly come here with questions of what is acceptable. You know, earlier on you were talking about your toes needing eaten away at.
Just my toes.
Or your feet, your whole
everything.
The whole lower foot. I'm growing my own platforms.
I think I've talked before on this show about how I trim my toenails. I'm on the same cycle as the dog. When she needs doing, I need doing. But what I did
Can I just, before you get deep into this...
Yeah.
Why don't they make really long toe... You know those things that you cut the end of the lawn with?
Secateurs, yeah.
You know, when you do the end of the lawn nice and straight. If they made toenail clippers that long, wouldn't life be easier?
It'd be less portable, though, wouldn't it? You'd have to have a proper walk-in cupboard.
Why don't you just go to my Chinese man? I've told you.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure about him. I think he's a jack of all trades.
So here's the thing. We all spent a month at the Edinburgh Festival, didn't we? I didn't take up any toenail clippers, and I didn't take up any cotton buds to do the old earwax. And I completely forgot about the earwax. So I went a full, I would say, 6 weeks with no cotton buds.
Really?
And I got back and did them with three buds, the whole lot. That's it, done.
Did you make a small candle?
No.
That would have been lovely, wouldn't it?
Just an average amount.
I love the idea of having a candle made out of me.
It's a nice idea.
Yeah.
However,
I bet there are Thomas Catalov's idea of setting fire to it as well.
Yes, I think so.
The fingernails were, I bit them down, but then there's the toenails to deal with.
You didn't strike me as a biter, I won't lie.
Only to prune, not as a nervous thing, just bit them down to keep them short.
Saves on the old...
But the toenails were an issue, and then I realised that I was going to a martial arts gym, as you know, I sometimes go to these places, and they had some communal toenail clippers tied on a bit of string and stuck to the wall.
You are kidding.
Because obviously if people have got long toenails and you're grappling with them, you can scratch them. That's maybe why that woman took the crock off the child.
Like a pen in a post office on a chain.
Yes, very similar to that.
I was going to use the betting shop reference, but that says so much about me.
So I used those clippers once during the festival, and I told my wife, I've clipped my toenails at the martial arts gym today, and she was absolutely disgusted. She said, "You've used communal toenail clippers," and I went, "Well, yeah, but if you go for a pedicure, they're not only using them once and throwing them away like it's a syringe."
They sterilise them.
My Chinese man is spotless.
Do you think he sterilises? I bet he doesn't put them in boiling hot water and then get them out with some tongs afterwards.
Excuse
I
me.
don't believe that.
Excuse me, we have trust between us.
That reminds me of that cafe in Spark Hill in Birmingham where they used to have the knives and forks on chains. And the woman used to come around with a bucket of soapy water and clean them with a flannel out the table.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So, also on the subject of my grooming, I haven't finished discussing that yet. You may have noticed in recent weeks I've stopped shaving, so I'm now a gentleman with a beard, I would say. Is that what you say? It's a beard?
What do you think, Frank? I quite like it.
One of those comics with the big bushy beard, is that where you're going?
Well, no, I'm just not shaving, but it has had ramifications, because I do think there is a sense of people with beards in the community start to notice each other. You don't quite do the VW driver's wave.
Yeah.
But had a bit of an awkward incident this week where I had to fight the temptation to ask someone out on a date, and I did. I had been for a swim. I was in the shower, communal showers, and I was washing.
Communal showers, that'd be right.
And there was a gentleman next to me who was washing also, and I looked at him and thought, he's washing similar to me, and he was in the pool swimming up and down.
Washing similar to you.
He was washing similar to me. He had a load of lather on his arms at the same time that I did.
Frank, he doesn't ask for much in common, does he?
I haven't finished. How
much variety of washing do you see at your gymnasium?
Also, if you go to Match.com, which you shouldn't be, because obviously you're very happily married, but
I am.
That's not a box you can tick. Washes similar to me.
Yeah. He was washing similar to me. Trust me on this. He was washing similar to me.
Okay.
He had a beard and he'd been swimming, and I very nearly asked him if he wanted to go for a coffee. I had to stop myself because I thought, we've got a lot in common. He must live local.
Are you aware of the concept of a mirror?
Oh, yeah. The penny's really dropped now.
No. Yes, you better ride full of yourself.
I was wondering why he was all steamy.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, yes, it's really become the thing now to have a beard, hasn't it?
I think it's nice, though.
Yeah, but
would you not go for it, Frank? I like a beard.
No, but my beard's going to be a bit Grizzly Adams. That's the problem.
It?
It's going to be white now.
Well,
white as snow. Actually, it could be this good time of the year for a bit of extra work.
Text Santa, large.
Yeah,
you get a gig in that.
I could be in it with Clooney.
Well, I was looking at some beard oil. Apparently, oiling the beard is a nice thing to do. But
it's good for it, isn't it?
There's some strange smelling ones. I looked at a website that has lots of different beard oil.
Beard oil?
Yeah. And listen to some of the smells that they've got. Black coffee. Now, that seems like something that you can achieve without beard oil, just by drinking black coffee.
If you're inclined to drowsiness, if you've got
tobacco
wafting up. Oh, no.
Why would you want to smell of that? Bay rum. I mean, people will talk if you turn up for a professional engagement. I thought he was going to say Beirut. Smells of Beirut.
Yeah.
But there were some nice smelling ones. It sounded like mahogany, rosemary. I like the sound of rosemary.
I don't want to smell of furniture.
Rosemary would be good, wouldn't it? I might get some rosemary.
Well, depends which rosemary.
Bergamot. I don't even know what that is, but I might get some.
Okay, why don't you ring that nice friend of yours from the swimming pool and you can go and discuss all this with him?
Oh, okay.
The Unguents.
Again, their second album. It was really, really good. Well,
the Pungents.
I'm interested. I wish I could. See, I had a beard when they weren't fashionable. I had a big ginger beard.
Yes, I've seen a photo.
Yeah.
Yes, I do recall.
But I don't think a white beard on a comedian is going to work, is it?
I think Al needs to keep his, though, because it's working.
Buster Meredith, I suppose, he got some laughs.
Worked for him.
Yeah. But I don't know if... maybe if they toured Fools and Horses.
Oh, yeah.
I could be in for the Meredith role. What do you think? I think that could work.
I think
I think you could be a Rodders.
I could have been.
Reasonable Rodders.
20 years ago.
And Boise, I think, as himself, is what I'm guessing.
Pope John Paul II.
Yeah. He'd be in it as... could be Del Boy. I'm surprised they haven't done it. If there's anyone listening who owns the rights, get in there.
Yeah.
And I'll start straightening that out. That beard. Anyway, I know what I never thought about this week, a new ending for the show. Do you remember last week? I thought maybe we've had enough.
What are we going to do?
Oh, I just don't know. It's too late to think of it now.
Why don't we just start thinking about what we could do at the end of the show every week at the end of the show?
That's a good idea.
Seems like it's created its own solution.
It'd be like Wagner, so you end the movement with a sense of uncertainty. And,
yeah. Goodbye.
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.
Absolute Radio.